Let's face it, each day it's getting harder and harder just to choose what game to play. Our libraries are growing, our access to games is ballooning, and yet we agonize over how to spend our actual gaming time. What a frustrating problem to have. But not anymore. In this video, I'm going to talk about 3 powerful methods to help you overcome the analysis paralysis and pick the perfect game for your session every time. Each of these methods attacks the problem from a different angle. You can think about it like a toolkit that you'll be able to pull from depending on the situation. But all 3 are both quick and effective at improving your decisiveness. They'll get you to a choice without the unproductive meandering and second guessing along the way. And I'm not going to waste your time either, so let's get right into it. First, a super quick look at what's actually driving this problem. The root cause is a well-known behavioral effect called the paradox of choice. I'll keep the details light because I have covered this topic in some other videos. For those who aren't familiar, here's the TLDR. When consumers are presented with a little bit of choice, they tend to be happier with their decisions. But if they're presented with too many options, they may face some negative effects, including decision paralysis, lower satisfaction in their choices, and potentially regret. So why is this problem getting worse for gamers? There are a few trends that have been compounding this issue when it comes to video games. The first, and probably the most influential, has been the rise of subscription services like Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus. These dramatically increase the number of games that players have access to for a reasonable monthly cost. At the same time, the rate of game development has also been increasing. In 2023, there were over 12,000 games published to Steam, which is up nearly 2,000% since 2013. More volume means more competition for attention, and an easy way for publishers to get your attention is with frequent, heavy discounting. You could easily pick up a dozen quality games for $50 during a major Steam sale. As a result, many of us see our libraries growing faster than we can play. Finally, there is a social component to this as well. With more games coming out, that also means gaming content creators are keeping busy. Some streamers might play a different new game every single day, so they're contributing to this atmosphere of FOMO. Taken together, this all can lead to more time deciding what to play, inconsistent follow-through with games you do start, and a potentially dangerous fixation on opportunity cost, where you constantly wonder if you could actually be playing something better in that moment. So you may be thinking, cool, if the problem is too much choice, then the solution is obviously to reduce choice. And that would be a good intuition. The issue is that reducing choice effectively actually requires a shit ton of discipline, which, I'll be honest, I don't often have. But if you are somehow maxed out on your willpower stat, then here are 4 foolproof ways to diffuse the paradox of choice. Number 1, cancel any game subscription service you pay for. Number 2, don't buy any new game unless you plan to play and commit to it immediately. Number 3, do all your gaming on a single console and get rid of everything else. And number 4, keep just one single game downloaded on your console at a time. For anyone who can handle all 4 of those, I salute you. You have reached a higher form of evolution, and you can actually stop watching right here. For the rest of us monkeys, you'll want to stick around, because we're now going to talk about some methods that won't eliminate the paradox of choice, but will make it much easier to live with. If you've ever filled out a March Madness bracket, this first method will look pretty familiar. I call it hosting a mood tournament, and it's a great way to narrow down a small set of games to figure out what you're in the mood for. First, you'll want to list out a handful of games that you're deciding between. Ideally, these are all games that are downloaded on your device so that you could boot them up within minutes if the time comes. I think it works best with between 4 and 8 options, but I wouldn't recommend going much more than 10 here. The basic idea for the mood tournament is that we'll be randomly matching up 2 different games and forcing ourselves to make a quick gut decision between them. We'll then repeat that process until we're left with a single overall tournament winner. This method helps us tap into our subconscious and forces us to make swift decisions so that we don't give ourselves any chance to overthink it. I figured the easiest way to demo this would be to show you an actual example of me using it. So here we go. All right, it's Wednesday, August 13th, about 8 o'clock. Let's run a quick mood tournament to figure out what I should play tonight. I'm on this website, thetournament.net. I'll link that in the description below. It's totally free and you don't even need to create an account. So I'm gonna go create tournament, continue as guest. Tournament name, you can put whatever you want, doesn't matter. Next, all you have to do is go to the players. Make sure you have the right number of players in here. If it's an odd number, you'll have one game that kind of gets a bye in the first round. All right, so I already have my games in my clipboard here, so I'm gonna paste those in, and then I'm gonna hit shuffle and give myself 3 seconds for each of these matchups. All right, Fields of Mystery, Donkey Kong. Mario Kart World or Roadcraft? Mario Kart. Let's go Monster Hunter Rematch. Rematch, Hades or Steam World, Heist, Hades. All right, back to the semifinals. Donkey Kong or Mario Kart World? That's Donkey Kong. And then Rematch versus Hades. I'm gonna go Rematch. All right, finals, 3 seconds. Tonight, I'm playing Rematch. There we go. It's that easy. The next method leverages one of our favorite behavioral theories on the channel, and the goal is simple: clarify what outcome we're actually seeking in our play session. This is called the motivation lanes framework, and it's built on the foundation provided by self-determination theory. Again, I'll keep the details light here. Self-determination theory, or SDT for short, provides us a model for human motivation and well-being. The basic idea is that people tend to thrive when 3 fundamental needs are satisfied: competence, autonomy, and relatedness. When these needs are met, we see more persistence and enjoyment in our activities. But when they fall short, that's where burnout and disengagement typically happen. The motivation lanes framework forces you to answer this question: what outcome am I seeking by playing a game? To answer that, all you have to do is pick a lane. There are 5 different options to choose from, and each one ties back to a core need defined by SDT. Lane 1 is called the progress run, and as you might have guessed, it has to do with accomplishing measurable progress in a game. This can include advancing in a single-player campaign, checking off achievements or side quests, or even just watching growth in something like a city builder. The progress run links back to the core need of competence. You want to feel like you're moving the bar, like your time has yielded returns. The second lane is called the skill climb, and this touches on another side of competence. Compared to the progress run, this lane is more about mastery, improving your abilities, increasing your rank, and showcasing the skills you've accumulated. There are dozens of genres that target this motivation. Think shooters, precise platformers, fighters, etc. It's for when you want to strap into something and get good. The middle lane is where you want to go if you're looking for instant engagement and minimal setup. This is the quick hook lane, and it's about low stakes, short loops, and fast feedback. Games in this lane can be picked up and dropped on a whim. They don't force us to commit to them, which ultimately supports our need for autonomy. Genres you'll find here include roguelites, arcade or retro games, and survivor-likes, to name a few. Next up, we have the cozy restore lane. This also targets our need for autonomy, but it's for when we'd rather relax into a calming gameplay loop rather than overstimulate ourselves. We of course find most of our farming, life sim, and zen puzzlers here. There's low pressure, perhaps light elements of building and creativity, a nice soundtrack, and an overwhelming sense of This lane is for when we just want to chill out and feel good. And finally, in lane 5, we have social play. If you ever find yourself craving some genuine human-to-human interaction, this is the pick for you. It targets the last dimension of self-determination theory, called relatedness. We all need some level of social activity to feel content, and games can actually be an excellent source for that. So of course, the main mechanic that we're targeting here is co-op play, which can include anything from intense survival games to zany party games. But even some of the more casual team-based PvP games can work if you're chatting and coordinating with your squad. So those are the motivation lanes. Once you know the outcome you're seeking, and you've chosen a lane that aligns to that goal, all you have to do is find a game from your library that fits the criteria. This has been such a valuable tool for me to get past that first stage of not knowing what to play, because it helps me hone in on my actual motivation in that moment. Once I understand why I want to play, it makes picking a game so much easier. The last method I want to show you looks at this problem from an emotional perspective. Instead of asking what outcome we're seeking, the vibe matrix is designed to help us understand how we want to feel when we play a game. It starts with a quick self-assessment or state check. Basically, what's my vibe right now? Am I feeling good or not so good? And is my energy level lower or higher than normal? These two dimensions give us a snapshot of our current state. Next, we simply ask, do I want to lean into this feeling or away from it? For example, if I'm frustrated but I'm feeling wired, maybe I do want to blow off some steam and sit with that feeling. But if not, then I would probably be looking for something to slow me down a bit and ground my mood. The power of this method is that it puts you in control of how you want to feel. You can almost think about it as an emotional regulation strategy. We're first identifying what we feel right now, which is a key step in practices like mindfulness, and then we're deciding which direction we want to take those feelings. The goal is to avoid jumping into a game that could potentially clash with our desired state. So here's how to use the vibe matrix. Once you've done your state check and you know your vibe and energy levels, find the corresponding quadrant on the matrix. For example, if I'm feeling content but a bit spacey, then I would look at the top left quadrant. From there, you'll find two different paths to choose from. You can either take the amplify route and lean into that feeling, or you can try to shift away from it. For each path, you'll find recommendations on the genres or mechanics that would be best suited to get you to that state. And it's really that easy. Let's say I choose to shift away from the top left quadrant and try to bring my energy levels up. To get me there, I'll want to find a game that's a bit more stimulating, so maybe something like an arcade racer or perhaps a 3D platformer. And come to think of it, I have just the game in mind. So there we go. You now have 3 new tools in your toolkit to help you reach a quality game decision every time. In the video description below, I've included links to each of these resources so that you can put them into action immediately. I do want to throw in a quick bonus tip for you guys as well. If you happen to have a really big library and you find yourself still debating between games after either the motivation lanes or vibe matrix exercises, you can always run a quick mood tournament afterward to help narrow down to a final selection. It's basically like using a 2-stage filter with the lanes or the matrix as your initial screening, and then putting what remains through a tournament for more granular filtration. Alright, before we wrap, I have one request for you guys. If you know of any great games that are a perfect fit for a particular quadrant of the vibe matrix or a lane in the motivation lanes framework, could I ask you to just throw all of those down in the comment section? That'll be super helpful for other viewers to give them some more specific ideas for titles that align with each category. That's all I got. I hope this helps you spend less time deciding and more time playing your games. As always, if you enjoyed the video or you learned something, don't forget to leave a like on the way out. And I will see you guys in the next one.